I hope y'all had a wonderful discussion. I am going to ask for some participation. So I'm going to give you a glimpse into what the 4s and 5s and all of our kids get to experience each Thursday. So I need everybody to stand up if you're able. And if you'll just repeat after me. I clap my hands.
I clap my hands.
I stomp my feet.
I stomp my feet.
I jump up from the ground.
I jump up from the ground.
I clap my hands.
I clap my hands.
I stomp my feet.
I stomp my feet.
I turn myself around.
I turn myself around.
I clap my hands.
Clap my hands.
I stomp my feet.
I stomp my feet.
I sit myself right down.
I sit myself right down.
I clap my hands.
I clap my hands.
I stomp my feet.
I stomp my feet.
I do not make a sound.
I do not make a sound.
All right. Because God is listening. God is listening to every word I say. He will hear me. He will hear me every time I pray. So let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for your true word. Thank you that you sent Jesus to pay for our sin. Let your truth take deep root in our hearts so we can know you, love you, and serve you. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick story, and then I'll do a demonstration. And so our story a couple weeks ago came from Hebrews 8 through 10. And so a long, long time ago, before Jesus lived on earth, God gave some people a very special job. And that job was being a priest. A priest's job was to work for God. The priests were very special. They wore special clothes. They took special care of God's house. And the priests would worship God, and they would help others worship God. They would take special gifts called offerings, like birds, goats, or lambs, and lay them out on the altar and pray for the people. But most important job that the priests had was to pray to God to forgive the people's sin. Well, what is sin? Raise a quiet hand if you know what sin is. Okay. Sin is to do Sin is to do what we want to do instead of what God says to do. So let me repeat that. Sin is to do what we want to do instead of what God says to do. All people sin. Even the priests would sin. Every year, the high priest would make a special offering for all of the people's sin. But the priests would grow old, and some of the priests would die, and they'd have to repeat the cycle. They'd get new priests, and the priests would grow old, and the priests would die, and they thought there has to be a better way. Well, that better way was Jesus. Jesus would be the ultimate high priest, the best priest. So in God's perfect time, he would send Jesus. Jesus is God. Jesus would not grow old. Jesus would live forever and ever and ever. Jesus never sinned, and Jesus did what no other priest could do. He gave the perfect offering himself. He did not have to do it over and over. Jesus paid for sin once. It was done. It was finished for all people, for all time. So let's give a silent cheer for Jesus. Great job, ladies. And so after the story, we did a little demonstration. So can everybody see my cups up here? Yes? Okay. So this is us. This is you. This is me. This is every human. Looks great, right? Yep. So even though it looks good from the outside, God can see the inside. So I'm going to set my mic down. So even though we might look perfect on the outside, God sees the inside. But then there are the sins of every day. kids, what are some sins that you can think of? Well, for me, it might be getting a little angry when I'm in traffic. Or coveting my friend's new car. Something else. Oh, instead of one Girl Scout cookie, I ate the whole box. Right? So now, it's just yucky. Right? But Jesus. Right? Jesus. So I'm going to have a little bit of Jesus, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. I need Jesus every day. There you go. But Jesus.
Wow.
Nice.